cell phones, please. We'll let Coach make an opening statement, and we'll open up for questions. If you raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you, Coach.
Well, really proud of our football team. Vanderbilt certainly, especially offensively, did some really nice things. We didn't play very well defensive, but I'm going to give Vanderbilt some credit on that. We were very loose on the edges as far as the quick screens and some edge run game. It was disappointing, but you got to give them some credit too. Kyle Shermer competed extremely hard in the game, made some really nice throws, had a 50-50 ball on the touchdown, and their guy's there and makes a play, but I'll take Rashad 100 times and 100 times on that to go make that play. They took some other shots down the field. We defended those, but again, I thought offensively we moved the football. We stayed balanced in the game. We ran the ball extremely well, and especially there to end the game at the end with 1:18 on the clock to finish the ball game. That was really important. But that's over 200 yards rushing or right at it the last 3 SEC ball games, so that's a huge marked improvement from where we've been. And got to continue to be more efficient in the throwing game and some things. We missed a couple reads there, whether it was the receiver or Jake. I'm not really sure. We'll go back and look at it, but I thought our protection was good. But it was a good hard-fought ball game. A.J. Turner ran extremely hard in the game. Extremely proud of A.J. You see the power that he has and what he is able to run through tackles. And so, again, very proud of our team and get ready for a very good Georgia team next week and open up for any questions.
We'll get a microphone to you, David, with the first one.
Will, how's Corey Holmes?
He's fine. He did tweak the ankle. He felt like he'd go back in the game, and we'll evaluate it, but he should be fine next week. Should be. I think from an injury standpoint, I think that was it. Dennis Daly's fine.
Other questions? Josh.
Looked like you came in throwing early. Was that in anticipation of them paying a lot of attention to the run game?
Yeah, we felt like we had some good matchups outside. We hit the stutter ball to Shy down the middle to start the game, matched them up in split safety coverage on their backer. The wheel route that we've hit several times this year was good for us in the game. Free release, they played a lot of man coverage. They picked themselves off on the perimeter. So we felt like going in the game, that was something we were going to be able to do, and we were able to get the ball in the perimeter in the run game pretty good.
Let's go over here, right, John.
Will, you'll probably know more after watching the tape, but how did you feel Zach Bailey played in his return? And
I'd have to look at it, but again, I think we missed one counter play. We missed a linebacker. I know that jumped over the top. Wish we'd gotten that one. That one may have been a big one. That we missed a linebacker on that. I just heard that on the headsets, but again, we'll go back and evaluate the tape.
Go in the middle, count.
Kind of sticking with that a little bit. How do you feel like the offensive line played today, and what have you seen of the last 3 SEC games that's maybe been different than in the past?
Well, I think, first of all, our staff has done a much better job of identifying things and going into a game that we can do to run the football. And I think we've narrowed our scope as far as what we're trying to do in running the ball. And so we're able to run the same run and block all the different looks. Because everybody nowadays plays 3 down and 4 down. And it's not worthy of me going through everything, but that changes an awful lot of rules in the run game and protections. So to be able to narrow things down, I think our guys are blocking it much better. Our backs have continued to run extremely hard. We've given them more opportunities. We've taken some of the RPOs off Jake and to make it to where it's a demand run. And so there's not a decision made on that. So, I think it's a credit, number 1, to our staff, number 2, to our players, that they've been able to, in the second half of the last 3 ball games against SEC teams, to win in the line of scrimmage. And that's what we need to be able to do.
Will, you get the ball back after they just scored a touchdown lead. I believe it was around 4 minutes ago. What's the offensive philosophy as a staff, to try to play it safe or to try to just play it?
We ran a counter play that we had hit on them multiple times in the game. They did a good job of defensing, and we get us in 2nd and long, in that situation. We had a shot play dialed up for the next one. They covered it well, so we ended up having to throw the check down to A.J. on the perimeter. And we had a good 3rd down call, in my opinion. They covered it well. So, no, just because you run the ball on 1st down doesn't mean it's conservative. I know that's what you sometimes think, but that's not the way we think.
Josh.
No offense.
Will you approach Saturday with your team as it's a big game and emphasize you can get into the SEC East race, or will you try to downplay that and just take it as the next one?
Take it as the next ball game. At the end of the day, our guys know it's an important game. There's no doubt they understand. They understand it's a big ball game against a very good team. So I don't think that me standing up in front of our team and saying it's going to make any difference. At the end of the day, they know it's a big game. They know we need to prepare extremely well, and that's what we'll do.
We'll talk about 6 wins. You're bowl eligible now. Does that mean anything? Did you address that in the locker room at all?
No, we don't talk about that. It's something we expect.
Let's go to Dick here in the middle.
Coach, Jake was your second leading rusher tonight. Was that something you'd seen in the film for him to keep the ball a little bit more?
No, we felt like that there was a couple design runs that we felt like we could get on the perimeter because of the way their ends played, and they didn't overlap very well. And something we've had in. We used it against Tennessee. And we used it again today. That we felt like it worked well for us.
We'll be over here to the right.
Well, you mentioned AJ being proud of him. That's over 200 yards now his last 2 games after kind of a slow start to this season. What has really stuck out about him maybe these last couple games that you've tried to involve him in?
Well, number one, he's had more opportunities. Number two, we've blocked much better up front to give him some opportunities to play in space. And so I think that those would be the 2 things that I think you would recognize, to begin with.
Swing way to the back corner.
Coach, how impressed are you with Parker's improvement? Because just from his celebrations tonight, he seems to be having a lot of fun.
Well, again, he's a guy that we've got a lot of confidence in. We always have. It hasn't always been the result that we wanted, but his leg swings have been good. And the one he missed tonight, he hit the ball extremely well. So again, that's something that we'll continue to work through. It's where we are right now, and it's what we have. But I'm proud of how he's continued to push himself through this thing mentally and continue to go out every day to practice to work. He's had tremendous weeks leading up to games as far as to create the confidence that we have in him and himself.
Back to the right.
Coach, no sacks today. I think only 1 tackle for loss. How do you think the defensive line played? Do you think that was just more of a scheme thing that they were doing, or do they just need to be better than that?
No, they've only given up 10 sacks all year. And, their longer passing game was a 7-man protection. They were keeping the tight end in the back end. They went to some empty, what I call scat protection, where it's 5-man protection, but the ball's coming out fast. So they to me, schematically, they do a very good job of getting the ball out. He's only been sacked 10 times this year. I think we were close on some occasions. They did a nice job of emptying the backfield on some 3rd down pressures to eliminate a guy out of a pressure. So you tip your hat to them on that.
Back to left, Will.
I know that you've mentioned wanting to get the ball in your playmakers' hands, and Hayden's kind of been a hot button on that and trying to get him the football. How much of a concerted effort did you make to not only get him involved early and often, but it seemed like there were a lot of targets to him early?
Well, we do. We came out of Tennessee game, he's got 1 touch, and his first thing Rope says in the locker room, we got to get Hayden the ball. And that's something it's not that we're not trying. It's sometimes by coverage things take it away. And we got a screen to him tonight. We're going to continue to do that. He's an outstanding football player. He's a great competitor. He competes at a high level, and the guy you got to get the ball in his hands. Shy Smith's a guy that continues to emerge for us. Made a really nice touchdown grab on a really well-run route, and Jake did a nice job of seeing in the RPO. So he's another guy that continues to come on. Brian Edwards, or Trey Smith continues to make plays for us, and you got to continue to bring along A.J. Turner and Tyson Williams and Mondenson finishing the game for us there. They ran extremely hard.
Way back to the right.
Will, you looked a little annoyed late in the 3rd quarter, maybe early in the 4th, on one of the plays where Jake slid, and it looked like maybe that you wanted a call there. Did you think that there should have been a targeting call there? And, do you think quarterbacks need to have a little extra protection when they're out there?
No comment. I'm not allowed to comment.
Yeah.
With how effective Counter was tonight, did you guys see something in their defense where you thought that would be pretty effective, or is that just the guys, getting used to something that you do as kind of a base run and executing it kind of
No, I
better?
thought we felt like going in the game that would be a good run for us. And, given an open week, you never know that they obviously could go back and watch their tape and see some things that they don't like, how they're playing it, and they certainly could change how they played it. They didn't tonight. We felt good about whether or not the end squeezed and we logged it and got it outside, or the end played up the field and we kicked it out and we hit it in the C gap. So I thought we blocked it extremely well tonight, except for the last one there on the 1st and 10. We did it, but they did a nice job of overloading us in that situation.
Back to the right, way in the back.
Coach, do you feel like, just in comparison to last year, your team's handled success better this year than it did a year ago, especially a tough win, then bye week, then come out and play well again?
Well, we didn't have a lot of success last year, so I'll be honest with you. But I guess so. These guys continue to work. I really like their work ethic and the culture that we're creating here. They do have a large buy-in to what belief in what we do and how we do things. We're into coaching players and developing football players, not babysitting guys, and we don't have to do a lot of that here. Our guys handle their business. We've got really good leadership within the organization, and I'm very proud of our team.
Will, with AJ, obviously you commented on his night. Did you see this coming from him? You know, maybe with more practice reps with Rico out. Did you see this kind of night coming from AJ?
I don't know if it's practice reps. He just gets more opportunities. You know, obviously touching the ball a little bit more, and you know he gets in the game, and obviously he's running extremely well. He's got a hot hand. We're gonna give him the ball, and we said it on the sidelines. I said, let's get 25 of the ball. The guy's running extremely well. He's running extremely hard, and he's a guy that gets on the second level can hit a home run because he can outrun some people down the field. So again, he's played extremely well tonight, and we need him to continue to play well for us moving forward. Yeah.
What did you see going wrong on that touchdown that Jemias gave up, and how much did that factor into how much Steven kind of played down the stretch?
Well, again, you got to cut the guy off inside. You got to cut him on the 1 yard line. You don't back up into the end zone. That's a base rule in what we do, and that's why we play pretty decent red zone defense. When we play smart and you play the way you're coached to play, and when you don't, that happens.
Over here to John.
Some nice plays offensively from Vandy, but Rashad Fenton was picked on a little bit tonight. Did you see anything different out of him?
No, I mean they caught the 50-50 ball on him in a situation where their guy wrestled it from him, and you got to give Sheffield credit. He's a really good player. I mean, he's been playing a lot of ball for him, and I wish we had, made a play on that ball. I was trying to think. I mean, I thought he made a heck of a play on third down on the fade ball to try and seal the ball game. That was a good play, right? And then I don't know. I'm just trying to think of some other targets there. But again, I don't know. I mean, if they target him a lot, that's fine with me. I think that we'll end up winning a bunch more of those than they will, in my opinion.
Will, a couple, is Sherrod Green okay?
No, yeah, Sherrod Green. He had a high thigh bruise from the Tennessee game. He practiced this week, and it was a game-time decision and did not go. He should be able to go this week. I'm sorry, I meant to tell you that earlier. Yeah, but he ought to be able to go against Georgia. He should be fine. We just – it's one of those things you continue to wear and tear on. It's not going to get any better, and we felt like the best thing was to hold him.
And also, with the way Mondenson's been playing lately, do you see him, not really move up in the rotation, but maybe try to get him a few more carries?
Sure. I don't think there's any question. But it's not just about carrying the ball. We got to protect, and we got to do some other things as well. So we got to continue to progress there. Yeah.
Just what kind of explanation did you get on that intentional grounding when it looked like maybe a miscommunication and Jake kind of sailed the ball pretty far downfield?
Well, as long as you're in the pocket and regardless if there's not a receiver in the area and there was a miscommunication on what the route should have been, but it is intentional grounding on that situation.
Anything else for Coach?
All righty, thank you.